Thanks for checking out this week's FinPrep Trading and Investment video newsletter. So starting off here with the year-to-date relative performance, the precious metals actually have started out the year with quite a bang. The lesser-known precious metals in particular, platinum and palladium, really outperforming, silver outperforming gold by about 2x, so in line with expectations. Good showing so far here. The one piece that is somewhat at odds is the Japanese yen, not really following through quite as well. We'll keep obviously an eye on that divergence potentially, but let's see if yen could find its footing. Great British pound slipping the most, though we do have positive confirmation out of the commodity currencies, Canadian dollar, Aussie dollar on top of the pile so far. So good to see there. Not terribly surprising here to see Nasdaq on top of your U.S. Equity indices. So outperforming S&P currently so far, that is, and Russell not really playing ball quite yet, but still positive on the week. Similarly, the long end of the U.S. government bond curve doing quite well, and we'll see that with TLT here. So good little start there with FinViz. They have a nice bar chart visual. So let's just get right into the price chart. However, looking at SPY, basically converted quite quickly from oversold there on the end of last year, setting up the conditions for a nice run this week, and indeed we did have that. Didn't make new highs on the week, however, and nearly an overbought territory on your fast stochastic. Although we do have an impending bullish crossover on your daily MACD, so positive there. So we'll see if we have further room to run there on SPY. Dow did hold this very important, or quite important, short-term trend line, third primary touch, arguably. So chipping away there at the 200 level, and similar story with regard to being nearly overbought. Qs. So it again mirroring our relative performance chart. Isn't terribly surprising to see Qs on top of the pile, and it's essentially a reversion to the mean. So as price pulls into especially the medium-term trend lines and longer-term, should further upside continue, they essentially could have most room to run. In effect, it pulled back into a nice deeper level, and then from there greater room to run. So basically, price pausing right at short-term resistance connected to cost prior tops here. So further upside, we're monitoring clearly for Nasdaq, although similar story, overbought in the short term. Trannies continue to slip, although interestingly, low of week is at your exponential 9 weekly moving average. We'll see if that can find a proper base. So then moving on to Treasuries, TLT, good performance. And recall in prior videos, we mentioned the declining 50-day moving average as your first level of potential resistance, and indeed it was. So here it is, price sold off on Friday, and currently holding this trend line, which capped a few rallies and even in through this period of more or less basing out. So we'll see if that can continue to hold, and a potential bullish crossover here on the daily MACD coming through the zero line on TLT. So we'll see if there's room further to run in the medium term, beginning of year here. US dollar somewhat hopscotch around this trend line, which more or less marked out your price channel extending back to mid-2016. And your impending bearish crossover, your 9 EMA through your 20 DMA. We'll see what happens here with dollar. Even if it was to pull in a bit deeper, 26 would be a reasonable place for support. But GDXJ, just a fantastic week, and we'll first look at gold. Gold having recovered that 110 trend line, which we noted in prior videos is extremely important off the multiple bear market rallies. So pretty pivotal area here, a little bit of a fake out and then a curving upwards. And we'll see if this can hold, particularly the 9 EMA if price pulls in harder, or your 20 DMA. But this 109, previously 110 area as an important potential level of medium-term support. So great showing out of GDXJ. And again, just mirroring the move off last week. Very strong performance with the hard sell off Friday. Very strong performance with the hard sell Friday. Although Friday was bid off this trend line, which essentially connected about 3 of these spike highs on your backside of 2016, your rollover essentially, and a close above your 50-day moving average. I won't make too much out of it yet. Monday morning awaits, and this is quite a volatile stock, as you can see, even on the day and week. But yeah, resistance more or less at the 50-week moving average with the potential bearish crossover of your 20 through your 50. Won't make too much of that quite yet, but a hold of this 33 area would be pretty critical, and especially your 9 EMA, as always, for any further upside in your precious metals. So in terms of copper, fantastic support at your 50-day moving average, which we noted in prior videos as well as being critical, and a recapture, perhaps more importantly, of this long-term downtrend line marking your prior tops, stemming off that massive run in 2011. So very important that copper holds gains here and continues to move forward. A little bit overbought on your day, but moving into oversold on your weekly fast stochastics, and a potential actually very good hold here of your zero line on your daily MACD with the potential bullish crossover in the works. So looking for potential future strength in copper, although this has been a choppy ride. Towards the end of this just massive acceleration off trend line stretching back to November of last year. As previously noted here, the yen chart is a bit choppy, similar to dollar index, so closed slightly below your 9 EMA and your 20 DMA. We'll see what is to become of this, but would like to see further confirmation and basing of this, again, just to simplify this 82 to 80-ish level, where we had periods of prior important consolidation in the Japanese yen tracking ETF FXY. So final piece wanted to note here that was pretty important. This is about your third week of a substantial run off your lows in TIP, so Treasury, inflation protected securities, bond fund, which more or less confirms or mirrors the prior move in early December of municipal bonds. So we were discussing early signs of life in bonds, et cetera, et cetera. And so the piece here was, is this going to further provide support to the core prime credit, as it were, within the United States, being TLT, your government bond tracking ETF. So looking for potential further upside. Don't suspect that this is all there is in TLT, but a hold, again, of 118 would be critical. All right. Welcome to 2017. Been a good year so far, and hopefully we'll keep things moving. All right, take care.